Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too. I think I should say shalom.
Amen. It's a pleasure having you this morning here. We are delighted and kindly greet our viewers as we get into our discussion.
Our viewers on Family TV, I'm delighted to be here this morning, and I would like to say Happy Easter to all of you, especially at this great moment in the history of humankind. And we thank God for it. Like Nelson was explaining, actually said that we are at home, but at this time, quite a number of Christians, maybe they are in church.
True.
They are attending a service.
But after church, they'll
be going home. But what is certain is that I think since Friday, a number of us have been at our homes now. Either some were traveling, going to villages, preparing to be at home on Sunday or on Saturday, or some were already at home. And we thank God for that. So the viewers on Family TV, I continue to wish you the happy remaining part of the Easter holiday that we have.
Amen.
May God bless you.
Amen. Now, we want to first of all take a reflection of how Easter was always celebrated days back. Because I remember by around Thursday, as we prepare for the Monday, Thursday, that was a time when people prepared to go to the village. And of course, it was always, everyone was expected, this family, the other family, and it was a point of reunion. But probably you should give us a history of why this used to be like that then.
Thank you, Nelson. First, I think I will start with the concept of family reunion. Its the way I look at it in its historical perspective. During Easter, then I'll come to the very question that you have asked. When you look at the scriptures, this period of scattering of the disciples started in the garden at the Passover when Jesus was arrested. That's the point when we see that a family which was together of 12 disciples with Jesus Christ, it started now dispersing. Because after that, I think we read about only 2 disciples, Peter and John, that remained close to Jesus Christ. The rest of the disciples, well, even Judas is talked about, because with him he just fell off at that point. At least the others did not die, but with him he just fell off right at that point. So you find at that point we see only, and this is what the Lord himself had predicted, because I said that strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. So at that point we see it is only those 2 disciples that are talked about. So you find a family that had Jesus Christ had built up, a family that was doing wonders, a family that had started having exploring the world. It's now scattered. But at the resurrection of Jesus Christ, we see again this family coming back together. The moment the news was spread by Mary and Mary Magdalene that the Lord has risen from the death, the news, he says, go and tell the disciples. And when that was done, we see this family coming back, and we see the church now starting. It was starting now with a lot of strength, even much stronger than previously. Because when you see the strength that Peter now was talking about, it's not the weakness that he had when he was denying Jesus Christ. At that time when he was saying, I don't know what will happen to me. I also don't know. When you look at the zeal and the passion that the disciples had after the resurrection of Jesus Christ, you see it was renewed energy. And energy that has, and also they could see now a future, because they had witnessed what had happened. So in the concept of the family as a church, we see these great things happening, because that's your reunion. We see from fall now to rise, but rising with the strength, almost the strength that Jesus Christ himself had when he was coming from the dead. So with that background, when we look at the smaller church as a family, we also look at the significance of this day, the significance of the resurrection, or we can look at it as the whole Easter period. It is so important to a family that it almost marks the foundation and beginning of many things at family level. I'll look at, I think, some of these briefly. First of all, we know that in many countries, Good Friday and Easter Monday, they are declared as public holidays. Specifically here in Uganda, which is, even if we say we are whatever, but at least we know that more than 80% of the Ugandans are Christians. But surprisingly, even non-Christians, they also take an Easter period seriously. That's why you'll find, try to pass around either shops, you'll find very, very shops that will be open on what? That will be open on. And yet this is a place where people look for livelihood. Because with livelihood, you don't need to legislate. One will just say, is the market there? Do I have the ability to access the market? I will do what? I will go in for my business. But you find the respect that is given to these days where they say, no. Yes, one can make the money, but I'll stay at home. But even at the level of formal employment, formal or informal employment, these days are declared as public holidays. So the opportunity that this gives to families is for parents and children to be together. I remember, I think even now it is the case that some schools used to declare even this period as half term. But depending sometimes on where it is, for instance, if you have maybe just 2 or 3 weeks the end of the holiday, one may say, no, let's not send the children back to home. Let's keep them at school. And like this particular one, you realize that some schools are just closed. So some are closed. Some may even decide to say, if it is a few days, they may say, okay, let's close off early. They will come back to do holiday. They will come back to do exams or something like that. But at least what is also certain is that during that period, you find even teachers do not teach during that period. So even for boarding schools, you find that respect is there, because when a child has gone to school, really the parental responsibilities have now been vested to the school or to the school management. But I'll look at a scenario where maybe this is a day child where I think the majority are. This is a day student, or maybe it's at university where you can come back home. So when these are declared as public holidays, these children are with us at our homes. And even a day like Saturday where you would say, but then in between there is also a Saturday. There's something interesting that employers do, even on Saturday. A number of them will say, even if we are working, we'll work maybe half day on Saturday up to about midday, to allow even their workers and so on also to prepare for the celebration. So you see that the opportunities are created around there for us as a family. That you have an opportunity where the children and the parents are together at that time. And if in a home, you have a working mother, you have a working father, even if both of them are working, again, an opportunity is created where mother and father would now be at home. And you bring in now the concept also, mother, father, and the child will now also be at home. That's the first opportunity which is there. The second opportunity which is created is one may not fully understand maybe the scriptures, but there is a lot of preaching around the love of Jesus Christ, around the mission of Jesus Christ, the love of God around that period. And if all of you as a family, you are together, and you are either you've invested time in being together to listen to these messages, it is one way of rebuilding that family. Even if you may not listen to these messages together, the fact that you've been cut off from the daily hassles of the world, and you are together in a family, it again creates an opportunity for you to bond further as a family. There are stages, like say, those formative stages. Because these days children start even school when you say starting lower nursery. This is a child who is probably 5 years of age. He's probably, sometimes they're even these daycares where if he's not even 5, he's just 3. But that child is leaving home every day to go somewhere away from the guardians or the parents. From Monday to Friday, from Monday to Friday. But at that point, that child is undergoing character formation. He's learning what does it mean to touch a wall. He's learning if I touch a saucepan when it has water, what is the consequence? If it has, say, hot water, what's the consequence? He's learning, for instance, our cultures. That's the time when you are saying, oh, when you are greeting and you're a girl, you kneel down. If you're a boy, maybe you're expected to be either sweeping or doing something. You are building up the character of that child. So when you have an advantage or an opportunity like that comes and you say, I'm now going to stay with this child for 4 days, 4 consecutive days. Again, you are participating in the reunion of a family. Because what a child would have missed out is now learning it. I'll just give an example. For the last 2 days, we've been having our grandchild at home. And it has been amazing, the type, how we have learned from this child and how the things we've seen her now also doing. Where she sees you sweeping. This is a girl who is about 1.5, just about 1.5 years old now. But she sees you sweeping, and the moment you place a broom down, she now also picks. But the mother is working, the father is working. So maybe these opportunities, they are not there now. Yes. But it has come up during this time, the 4 days when we've been with her.
So she can look at what you're doing and imitate it.
Yeah, and imitate it. In fact, she was seeing her grandmother preparing food, putting banana fibers in it. Then the grandmother just tasted and left the saucepan there, but put the banana fiber about 1 meter away from the saucepan. She went and picked the banana fiber and put it in the saucepan. Yeah, that is character formation. That's character formation. Yeah, where unlike I think what has come in, where the longer a parent and a child stays with a parent, the more that child is also growing. He's growing physically, he's growing, but he's also growing spiritually. Because if you are in home and you are having, say, devotions, that's the time now to have devotions as a family. Because all of you now, you are complete. It's not that you've come back from work, you are tired, you'll simply say, let's just sing a hymn and we pray. All of us say, we'll pray tomorrow, Today, I've traveled to either Mbarara, I've come back at 11 or midnight. We've not been able to share this Bible study together as a family. That period provides an opportunity for you to be together and say we are having a home fellowship. And it is in those environments that God does amazing things. You'll have your child opening up. You'll also have even the spouse, the things that he would have said, how would I explain this in 5 minutes? When it's a long story that needs an hour. That's the time when your spouse will be able to come to you and say, look, at the place of work, there are the things that really are disturbing me. There are the things that are not going well. Because the time is enough to explain those things very well. And in most of these things, psychologically, when you are able to release a burden to another person, it also can give you relief. It will give you relief, and you'll also find that your family life will now become more enjoyable. So this period is quite a wonderful opportunity for a family, to come together, for a family to unite, and also for a family actually to go on the knees together to God and say, God, we are presenting this to you as a family. You find a child is praying for it, the mother is praying for it, the father is praying for it, and you are together in the home that God has told you, I want you to be in this in this home. So it's a wonderful opportunity for a family, really, for a reunion. Yeah.
Now, having talked about the beauty of this season, we also look at reality that this is a time where people don't want to stay home, where people get bored easily. For example, if someone realizes that to stay home on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, by Sunday they're already bored. They don't want to be at home anymore. That is when they'll find everything irritating. They don't want, they no longer want to listen to the children saying, even when they call daddy, daddy, it becomes a little irritating. And you see people looking for where to go, maybe to spend their day or things like that. And by today, someone would choose to pass by town even when they're not going to work. What causes that? That a beautiful moment like that can be turned into a state of boredom.
Normally, these are the things that I could think about. One, there is purposing. Actually, in the broader what, it's an opportunity, but it's purposing to make a moment useful to all of us. If it a mother purposes, a father purposes, normally a child, it may be very difficult because with him he may just find himself in an environment. But if, say, a father purposes to do it, he will be able to create an environment where that has been done. Because the demands for things like, say, it could be saying that maybe I spent on Friday, I spent on Saturday, and now it's another day of spending, but you can plan and say, this is what we'll have over our Easter period. And this is how we are going to utilize it effectively, where, it's like when you are starting on a journey, if you ever be, if you are traveling, say, in air and you are going to take, say, 12 hours, there are those small things that the air crew continue doing that make you look forward every minute to the next moment. One will tell you, we've reached here. Can you look through the windows? Check in your passport, there are these things which are there, so that all through your journey, you are really enjoying it. And even some of the pilgrims we've been to, it may be a 5-day pilgrim, but you'll find that every moment of it, you are really doing what? You're enjoying it. So if the mother and father purpose to make it a joyful moment without even feeling the boredom. Because remember, we work, a year has 365 what?
Days.
365 days. When you take all the public holidays in Uganda, they do not exceed 15.
Exactly.
They don't exceed 15. So if you enjoy work so much for 5 days, and you go on for 1 month, making it 20 days, 5 times 4, 20 days, and you find 4 days you cannot push through. Then maybe you reflect on the vows, or if they are not vows, you reflect on the purpose. You reflect on the purpose. And when you take that, I think, into a year, the percentage becomes even much, much smaller. Because Easter doesn't come every month.
Exactly.
Easter doesn't come every quarter. It comes only once in a what?
In a year.
Only once in a year. Then the other thing is also that could be probably the possible cause of that is I talked about it financially. It is on especially from the perspective of most men, it is looking at spending, where you say, I'm now at home and these expenditures are going to go up. Because sometimes you may simply say, if I'm not at home and there's no salt, they'll find a way of going about it. If there's no sugar, they'll find a way of going about it. But like I explained before, you put on the coat of a man and say, I'm a man in this family. If I don't provide sugar, nobody else will provide it. If I don't provide salt, nobody else will provide it. But when also you look at the bigger context and say, if I do not also take responsibility towards my family today, I'm creating a bigger problem for the generation that will come. If you don't do that. Because that's really our purpose here, that today my action is, my living today should make the next generation better than the ones I've lived in. And that's why I think we see these advancements in technology, advancements. The only unfortunate thing, what I see is while we have those advancements on external things, the family in most cases now instead is going down. And simply because we've not, I think, invested. We are so much living so many things to take a free fall. We are not, when you look at, for instance, the research that is being done in electronics, you find billions, people spend time, people spend energy, people spend resources to look out where can new technologies come in this area. But there are few people who are investing, how would a stronger family come up tomorrow? How would a better family come up tomorrow? There are few people who are investing there. But I think as men, and with us as a Christian organization, we know that it's our responsibility. We must make sure that people who are living tomorrow, they have better families, that they show more love to the world than the one which we are even showing today, that they are more responsive to the challenges that relate to the family than maybe we are today. Because these advancements that we are seeing, you find advancements, say, in mobile telephone. It should instead strengthen families. You should look at it. When you look at advancements in all other areas, you find research in either medicine, you find research in things like this what for maybe research in animals and so on. Eventually all that should end up making man more, making families much stronger, making families much better. Because families are the foundation of God's creation.
You talked about technology, and that will, we shall spend some time on technology. While we embrace technology, while we have, very many things have changed. With the mobile phones, today, parents choose to make their children busy with maybe games and movies on TVs and on all those other platforms. I mean, there is a lot in technology. But while we embrace technology, and while you say that technology is good, we've also had an analogy where they say that technology is one of the leading causes of family breakdown. Is that true or not?
I think I would say yes and no. I think that's
depend the yes and the no.
Yes and the no. Yes. First is the major effect of technology is efficiency in the way things are done. Where, for instance, when I was young, I remember what used to happen when one of our relatives died, or even somebody on the village died. You would send somebody on a bicycle. Is going to relative one who is 30 kilometers away from home. After that, he will go to relative two, who is also another 20 kilometers away from relative one. And that person, you are expecting him to take maybe 3 days, taking that information that somebody has done what?
To the various members.
To the various members. Today, when somebody dies, within the next 3 minutes, it's possible that 80% of the relatives will have known that that person has died.
Yeah, true.
So even if you said he has died today, the burial is tomorrow at 2 p.m., somebody will not come either because he doesn't have money, transport, or other reasons. Maybe he's engaged in something. But it's not that he has not known. So that's the yes part that the no part that it has its own advantage that it has brought. But the no is we need to harness this technology to benefit us. For us not to be driven by the technology, but for us to drive the technology. So that if you know, like now, this message is reaching millions and millions of people. But you can also use it in another way. You can say, today, Jesus didn't rise. I know. I know these scriptures, what they tell us, they are new discoveries that have been made. They've checked the grave of Jesus and they've realized that they buried another person. you are talking to millions and millions of
people.
Of people. You'll find a child who is not even fully entrenched in scripture, and you will say, all along they've been telling us, our Sunday school teacher told us Jesus rose. But now that child is listening to a TV today.
Yes.
And you are saying there are new findings that have been realized that they buried another person and not Jesus Christ. And with him being young, he may probably believe you and say, oh, all along that's what we've been saying, and this is what has been, but the reality now is this. So that's why I said it is yes or no. If it is honest to advance humankind, it really helps. If it is not done like that, and it is instead used as a tool to do so many other things that take mankind backward, then it will be the other side of the coin. But to us, I think, as parents and believers, any tool that comes around you that enables you to be more efficient in what you are doing, use that opportunity, because it is there. It has reached that level. Use it today, because you'll be more efficient in the way you do things. Like I said, this message here, if you are to move and say, let move and physically reach every person who is listening now, you may take even 2 years to reach all those people.
Yeah, true.
Or even beyond 2 years.
Before we get before we go for a break, still looking at technology, you realize that today, in a family, everyone is on their own. When people, especially these days, the days we are talking about, from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and today Monday, the father is on his own phone, the mother on her phone, the child, one is maybe the children, one is on games, another one is watching a movie on a particular platform, and I mean, they're all seated in the same living room, but everyone is communicating to a gadget.
Virtually. They say you are together physically, but you are absent.
So you realize that while they are at home, they are so distant from each other. Should we still say that technology is good in a family, especially as we embrace it?
That is now, I would say it's a lifestyle for that to happen. In a time like this, when you have an opportunity where all the parties are around, I would really so much encourage that look at activities that you can do together and break these barriers. It could be like technology can't cook. At least somebody may have to go and check whether the food is ready, whether when you are looking at something like, say, sweeping or whatever, there are things that technology, but look at those activities that require physical presence and all of you are together. And there are very many in a home. And really optimize those activities. Because like really you are saying, if you are seated in a room and one is on the other chair, the mother is on the other chair, the children is on the other chair, a child is on the other chair, and the child is probably watching, is it a cartoon or something, whatever it could be. The father is following up on what's happening, what Trump is doing, the tariffs that is about to impose on China, and maybe the mother with her, she's looking at, she could be looking for salon, the best salon in town.
Or maybe a soap opera.
Or maybe a soap opera. So in such circumstances, really this time does not benefit you. You are as good as somebody who has gone to work, as good as a child who is at school, and as good as both of you have left the mother alone at home. So you can utilize this child, like I said, in terms of rebuilding a family and rejuvenating it by saying those things that bring us together. You can say, our neighbor, maybe we've not seen our neighbor for a long time. Let's just take a walk and go. Because the more the mind and body are together as human beings, the closer you become.
We are taking a short commercial break. We are going to start from there and show us how closer you become when you are together. Kindly stick with us. We shall be back.
Issues at hand. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. Issues at hand.
Welcome back from the break. We are talking about Easter as a time of family reunion, but also renewal. Before the break, we are talking about quite a number of things. And of course, Engineer Wilber Grace Naigambi. He's the Fathers Union President of Namirembe Diocese. And of course, I cut you short because we had to take a break. But you are telling us about the togetherness in mind and how that happens. The magic is what we want to understand. Probably someone might choose to embrace and try it for at least this one day they have.
Okay, now we are waiting for less than. But the good thing is God gives you life. We'll again have Easter next year. Yes. We'll have also Easter, Easter the other year, and so on. So the point I was explaining is that you look at those activities where body and mind, they are together. And that's the point at which I had come to say that the bodies may be together, but then the minds could be separate. So I was giving an example. If you've been working for, say, you've been leaving home early, sometimes there are inevitable things that may be there. You may either have one of your neighbors may fall sick, but for one reason or another, you are not able to visit him in the hospital. You are also not even able, you've not been able to go and visit him at home. You can use that moment to go as a family and stand with such a person. Of course, in the Christian setting, when we say you go and stand with him, it means you will also go, you may take for him something or her something and also pray with her. That moment, it is difficult to separate the two. Because when you are walking, you are not going to walk when you are looking at the phone. You'll have to put the phone, you'll have to put in the phone. And also where you are going, definitely you are not going to get there and you start pulling out your phone. You've gone to see somebody. You'll have someone to put the phone away and you start the conversation with such a person.
Yes.
That's one thing that I could see. But even within the home setting itself, there are things that you can do. I was talking about, I think, a few of them. If say you have a garden, you could simply say, let's just go and sit in one. Let's just go and sit in the garden. We'll just have, say, our meal in the garden. It is very really, it's very unprofessional even at a family level. For you, when you've left the sitting room, you are sitting in the garden, and with you are busy. you are busy
on your phone.
But also in that environment, you'll find, because it is a newer environment, you'll find also the child will be asking, Father, I can see bad there. I can see this. Those things, those distractors that will come away from that deep concentration that you may be thinking of, that may really keep you glued to your target, to your gadget. But also, if you have the discipline, you could say during this period, because these things happen, there are workshops that we have gone to attend, and they've told you, please put away your phones.
Yes.
There are workshops that you go to attend like that. And there are even places, for instance, if you are going to meet His Excellency, they will tell you, actually with them, they just jam that thing so that you do not have access to it. So you can develop that what yourself and say that during this period, I'll just try to put off the phone, because I think the major distractors that I can see, they are phones and maybe television and television sets. Those are the major distractors that will move a person away where he's just with you physically, but the mind is somewhere else. So when you minimize activities or access to those gadgets, you will achieve an environment where all of you are together. But also, the reason you may want to do that, it is, although I think, give an example of somebody who will say, I'll invest in buying seed, where if you go to some of these shops, agronomy shops, you may find a kilo of maize. You may even buy it at, say, 30,000. But the person who invests in buying a kilo of maize at 30,000, in his mind, is saying, I'm going from this kilo that I bought at 30,000, I'm going to harvest a bag from here. So that bag, I know I'll get maybe 200 or 150,000. So he's looking at the investment that is putting in vis-a-vis what is going to get out. So if at the back of your mind, you are really saying, it is worthwhile for me for these 4 or 3 days to stay away from this, but invest in something for which the benefit, both at family level, at national level, and also at church level, will be worthwhile. You will see the value in it. You really see it and say, it is worthwhile doing this one, because you'll, for, like I said, the 5 days, you'll have your phones with you, you'll have your TVs with you.
Yes.
For 5 times 4, you'll have those things with you. But when you say, let me just use these 5 days to invest in my family, you really, you'll be amazed at the type of reward of what that you'll get.
Now, we'll look at, as we in the break I was sharing with you, there is something that is getting off, especially with this generation that we are in. For example, while we were growing, we used to see our grandparents attaching a lot of value to family and reunion, especially when it gets to this season. That is a time where all the children, their children, our parents now, would take all of us there. And of course, when they went to be with the Lord, you realize that the other spirit, at least the parents would say, today we are celebrating Easter from Auntie so-and-so's home. And I mean, but those are things that are, things that are fading, that these days, you realize that I am not willing to push the same to my generation. Why do you think this culture is fading?
Thank you, Nelson, for that interesting question. I think there are a number of things that I could attribute that to. The first is the one that we have talked about before. The explosion of information has come with its own repercussions, which we need, I think, to be aware of. That if I know what is happening, if you are my brother and I can constantly keep in touch with you to know what is happening at your
on
home,
WhatsApp,
there is something psychologically that will come up to say, I know what is there. So I don't need to go there physically to find out.
It seems to be, you seem to be closer to each other.
So this is what you are feeling, as if a child was either taking a saucepan somewhere and she fell down. In the next 1 minute, you'll see she will send you a photograph. Carol fell when she was carrying water. You've known it in the next 3 or 4 minutes. So the urge for you now to go there may not be there, because virtually you think you are really connected virtually. You know what is happening. You know what is happening here, what is happening there, and what's happening there. So you may feel, and unfortunately you may find that this could even also go to the children also, that your child is also connecting with my child through such a media. So he will tell you, he was lifting a baby and the baby fell down, and it's a child who is telling you about what's happening in your brother's home, in your brother's home or in your sister's home. I think that could be one way I could look at it, that the information explosion resulting from advancements in technology has brought us, the sharing of information has now become something of the day. But I think also the other is the demands. I think work demands have also now gone up extensively. We are in an environment where, should I say first world? First in terms of moving very, very fast. Because previously you could see that the areas where, say, government would employ people are constituting a bigger part of the employment market. And the people who used to do either who are self-employed and so on, they were fewer than the people whom government was employing. Now, when you take a private sector-led approach to employ, you see that now people who are in the formal employment, they are the smallest percentage of the people who are in the informal employment. And most of the informal employment, you find that the ability to say job security and so on, they are in most cases they are not. In most cases they are not there. So the hustling there tends to be more than the hustling in what one would say government employment or informal employment. So those things also have impacts on the way we do things. That almost all the time you find the time is not there. Almost all the time you find that time is not there. So when you get a time like this, you simply say, I've been running around for 1 month. Let me just have some rest at home. I don't want I don't want to
get into moving here and there.
Get moving here and there. Then there are also, I think, another aspect. I think this one I would mainly put it to around our major stay here. That the time spent in movement is also considerably very, very high. If you are moving from, say, here to Mbara, you may have to plan for a full day, because you'll get stuck somewhere maybe for 1 hour, you'll get stuck somewhere for about 2 hours, and so on. All these things have demands. They have demand. The immediate demand they have on you is time. But if you are moving with a family, you may also have to consider, now when we reach this place, we may have to get something to eat from there. When we reach this place, maybe I may have to refuel a vehicle again. So again, you may think about those things and say, maybe let's just stay here in town instead of moving to go where? Instead of moving to go up country. Of course, the other, on the pocket side also, when one may think, I've been hustling, but I've come out empty-handed. And if I'm going to the village, there is this that also require me to spend on. So one may look at that and say, maybe I'll use mobile money if to help XYZ instead of me physically going. But then the appeal that I would like to make to my viewers today is that those things are there, but our obligation is to keep our families strong, and our obligation is to people would have, like, say, obligation is to siblings and so on. Those things that make communities much stronger, they do not go away. You just still have to realize and say, yes, we live in such an environment, but I have to be that one person. I think is Humurai said, I have to be that one person who will say, I don't want to participate in a community that is breaking. I'll be one person who will come out and say, let me be the one person who will say, let me put my brick on a community that is kept together.
Now, kindly share with us some of the ways through which this time can be used productively, profitably, especially when it gets to family reunion, family rebuilding, family strengthening. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Nelson, again. I think I'll take my own background. One of the things that can be done during a period like this is fellowshipping together as a family. It is, there are things that we can bring forward first, but there are those things that we say, these are foundations. And for foundations, even if all the other things shake, when your foundation is strong, you still will remain. So, Nelson, even if you said, let me call a teacher, and he connects me to my pupil, and we pray on phone, or we have fellowship on phone together as a family, it will not be equivalent to your son looking at your lip when it is moving and you are praying. There will be different things. If you are saying, my son has been battling with maybe a boyfriend who has been disturbing her at school, and you are placing your hands on that child yourself, and the child is seeing you doing that, that type of prayer is really quite different and special prayer that you are praying before God. So one thing that I can offhand look at is look at the foundation and say, this Easter holiday gives us an opportunity for a family to fellowship together. And like I said, that's a powerful prayer where you have, in the presence of the Father, in the presence, the child himself is praying for the father. In the presence of the father and mother, he say, God, my father pays my school fees, but he threatened at the place of work. Can you please intervene in this situation? That's a different prayer. The prayer that the mother will be praying for the father also. My father, my husband leaves this place every day to go and work. Can you please cut him off from all distractions, so that he can concentrate on the work he's doing, and also concentrate so that we can provide him for our family needs. That's a different prayer that the mother is doing. And likewise for you, the father, that is doing. My wife stays at home. You have to look at this place. There may be things that may be coming here. One may come say, we are from Umeme. We've come to do this when they've come to disconnect, and so all those type of things where you say, I just need divine God in my what? Divine God in my home. And it is the father praying it when the mother is there and the child is there. That's a different type of prayer. And that's the foundation that really I'm looking at. The other ones can follow, like you can say, we'll do this, but that one is the one that I can see, which is the biggest opportunity that we can take during this Easter season and Easter period. Okay. Yeah.
And then of course, now you've talked about spiritual nourishment as growing together spiritually as a family, not leaving your responsibility as a parent to the Sunday school teacher, because we also have parents who are good at pushing their children Sunday school teachers. So the only thing is They take them to Sunday school, and past Sunday school, nothing else happens about the Bible, about anything, prayer, until when they'll go back to Sunday school. What is awaiting this kind of a parent who has put all the trust of their child's spiritual growth in the hands of the Sunday school teacher?
Such a parent, I think it just needs to be, if he's there, you just approach him and just outline to him the responsibilities of a parent. Because a Sunday school teacher may help, a teacher in school, any other school, maybe lower primary, may help, but it's like say, I would say education, where you say, your uncle may help you, your brother may help you, your cousin may help you, but all that help does not take out your primary responsibility as a person who is supposed to provide education to such a child. So even that one, though Sunday school teacher may help you and so on, but it does not take away your responsibility as a parent. And these things, if you take the marriage, the way the church looks at it, these are the things that are taught when you are in those counseling sessions. Because there you'll be told you've been a child in your mother's home and your parents' home. Now you are going to your own home. These responsibilities are going to be your responsibilities now. Other people can come in and help, but it does not take away your responsibilities. And I really I think these natural cycles where you start as a child, the toddler, parents help you, they do this, you go to school, you get a few things from there, then you say, now I finished school, I'm now making also my own home, and you start going through these things, the natural development cycle. So that by the time you are there and you are also saying, now I have a child, you really don't expect that Nelson, who is the one in the Sunday school, he's the one who is going to do for me this. You'll have been taken through it. Yeah.
Well, as we wind up this discussion, kindly give us your closing remarks, especially caution to people out there who really use this time for outings, for partying, and so from Friday, someone is at a party somewhere, on Saturday at a party somewhere, then yesterday somewhere, and today they're also planning to go somewhere. They do not have any moment for home.
No, actually, partying is not bad, by the way. But under such circumstances, do it as a family. Because you can say, on Good Friday, we are going to the zoo. As a family, you are going to the zoo. Or you can even say, this weekend, you are going to Maxon. You are going as what? You are going as a family. It is the other aspect, which is really very dangerous, where you say, I will be saying, I'm just strolling out here for a few minutes. Then the 5 minutes become 10. The 10 become 2 hours. Come with you, you've run away very quickly and you are going where?
You're only looking for a way to escape.
You're only looking. And unfortunately, maybe you're even escaping to a zoo. You are not even escaping to do something either, but you are simply escaping what? To
where you would have gone with your family.
Where you would have gone with your family. So it is good, it can be planned. You can plan and say, this is where you are going, but to benefit most from such a period, do it as a family. You'll have done enough investment. If you do it alone, I'm telling you, it is not any different from any other day or different from any other activity that you have done. Because it is, first of all, what you are going to do, you may not know what will happen there. Yeah. Then secondly, you are even the opportunity to connect, you are disconnecting again further from. Because you can imagine, Nelson, maybe your child has been sent home for, say, a half term, is at home. And with you, you are now leaving home, going away. You are just leaving this home, this child with the mother. What do you expect? What relationship or connection do you expect to have with that child? Because this is a situation where you'll find a child is growing, he has grown up, and is giving a speech on a graduation party, and is not talking anything about a father, because the father was never present in his life. All the time that the child needed the father was never there. Or he has grown up, and we've reached that point. I'm 60 years now old. You've reached that point, and you are saying the daughter is in the US, and is saying, let me go and pick my mother. Is leaving the father alone behind. And this is somebody who is 60 years. How is he going to live? You'll just live for the next 3 years and also die. Because you did not use the opportunities effectively. You are saying, I'm throwing out for 5 minutes, you've gone out, the child is there, the mother is there. You've left these two to bond together. You've put yourself out of the picture of the family. So I think that's what I would have, that if we invest in building families, if we invest in, at this time, although it may look that it is demanding, the rewards that you get are enormous.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much, Engineer. And of course, to our viewer, we are grateful that you've been watching us from where we started from. We've come to the end of this show. And of course, we've worked with Andrew, Hope, we started with. In transmission, we have ST and Patience. From the entire team, we wish you a blessed day and a blessed Easter Monday.
Issues at hand